What is man-made in the scene from 2001, The Space Odyssey?
I think the closest thing to being man-made, even though it's not quite made by men, is the actual obelisk.
Yeah, yeah, it's alien-made.
Right.
But that's true.
Also, it's depending on how technical you want to get, it could also possibly be the bone just in the way that it's used. It's kind
That's
of
a use thing. Tool use is an important stage in development. But chimpanzees can take a thin pole, lick it up, and make it sticky, and stick it in a termite mound and get some lunch. Making tools is a step they haven't reached yet. When they start making chipped stone knives and pointy spears that they carve themselves, then it'll be more made. But good point.
Oh, mine was what Anna said.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, and I'm not going to belabor this because I think, did have this conversation last year. We live in a completely natural world. Everything is found. Everything is as nature intended. We're just another herbivore until we learn how to kill. What about in L.A. in the last scene? What's natural? And if you know anything about Los Angeles, you know that there's a funny side to that question. What's natural in Los Angeles?
Maybe the way they argue.
That's interesting because they're arguing in a way that is very intuitive, and intuition is part of human nature. Human nature doesn't change. I hope you understand that that was not a casual conversation. Those guys were in a psychic duel, as intense as the duel that was at the end of Robin and Marian, because it's a precursor to what will happen at the end of that movie, where they have a duel with violence and 9mm automatic pistols. They are probing one another for psychological weakness, for distractibility, for short temper. Because if you can make someone else angry, you're going to probably win the argument. You become like a bullfighter, and they become like the bull. They're big and powerful and angry, but they're easily directed. So that's an interesting answer. And I'm not going to say you're wrong because the way they are, but there is a level of sophistication and there's also a level of language that is very man-made. Before we developed this artificial thing called language, we can say, expressing whatever I just expressed. You can express basic things, fear, aggression, loving, but you're not going to get much sophistication. So in that sense, the language is definitely man-made. But, good point. Other natural things in Los Angeles.
The light from the sun.
That's bouncing off the moon because it's dark. But the moon is a place where Americans have been several times. We've got our flags there. We've got our trash there. So America, heck yeah. And the moon is mostly natural except for that. What about the stars? Well, they're natural, but you can't see them too well because of the light pollution coming off the ground, which is a problem in cities. Yes. I thought I saw your hand.
Sorry.
Well, if it's wrong, we'll laugh at you and you'll fail in life. Don't worry about it. No big deal.
The police officers, natural instinct.
Okay. Yeah. That actually is right in there with your argument because you're dealing with human nature. When I'm feeling good, I pray for 4 kinds of people. Those who suffer, those who are in joy, those who are guilty, those who are innocent, actually 6 kinds of people. Those who are bystanders, and those who are protectors. Now, on a personal level, I can't stand bystanders. I can't stand people who stand and watch other people suffering and not help. That bugs me. There's a line from a John Wayne movie, not a very good one, McClintock. There's a bad thing that happens. So John Wayne walks up to a young man who watched it all, and the young man says, "Don't hit me, I didn't do anything." And John Wayne says, "That's right, you did." Bam! But yeah, the desire to protect others. Without that, we would be in very bad shape. Yeah. So good. Okay. Basic instinct. Thoughtful answers. Obviously, every tree, every bush in Los Angeles is planted. The scrub on the side of the highway may be natural, but the trough that the highway goes through is man-made. The men are, they have faces, but men have beards, and those men's hair are clean and well conditioned and well barbered and all that. So they don't look natural. They're artificial in almost every way. And the way the conflict plays out is different too. You start out with threat displays of the primitive herbivores, and then once we discover clubs, it's clobbering time, and the guys with the clubs keep the waterhole until the guys without the clubs get clubs of their own, and then they'll come back, and it's war. And it's life and death. You saw how dry that terrain was. East Africa's like that. It has two seasons, wet and dry. And in the dry season, the water almost disappears, can disappear completely from a region. So that's a struggle for absolute survival. What were they fighting about in the middle movie? What were they fighting? Yes.
Well, like, this was Robin and Marian.
Yeah.
It was kind of like because the sheriff of Nottingham was like gonna try and take Robin's woods or whatever. He was gonna try and.
You're remembering the movie from last year, which
Yeah.
is excellent. I'm actually looking for something much more basic, but you got it. They're fighting over human things. They were fighting over honor and authority and stuff like that. Remember, you get to choose your seats until Friday. At that point, we'll lock you in, so make sure you're happy where you are. Okay, actually, all three of you guys, may I shift over one of your seats, just so you're not. Anyway, thank you. Have a wonderful day.